In the quiet town of Greifswald, nestled in what was once East Germany, a boy was born on January 4, 1990, with ice-blue eyes and a temperament that belied his years. Toni Kroos was not a child of flamboyance or chaos. He was a child of order. His father, Roland Kroos, was a professional football coach, and his mother, Birgit Kammer, a former badminton player and teacher. Discipline wasn't an option in the Kroos household. It was a standard. Roland believed in structure, punctuality, and precision. Toni and his younger brother Felix, who would also go on to play professional football, grew up in a home where performance mattered, but humility mattered even more. From the age of 6, Toni followed his father to training sessions. He didn't just play with the ball, he studied it. He watched the way it spun when struck with different parts of the foot, the subtle pauses before a killer pass. While other children chased the thrill of goals, Toni pursued control, elegance, and vision. When most boys his age played football for fun, Kroos practiced passing drills for hours, off both feet, blindfolded sometimes at the insistence of his father. It was a childhood defined by discipline, but never void of joy. The game was his refuge, his teacher, and soon his future. Toni's first real test came at Hansa Rostock, a respected academy in the region. Even here, among other promising talents, Toni's intelligence on the pitch set him apart. While not the fastest or most aggressive, he saw passes others didn't, made decisions a beat quicker than the rest. He wasn't immune to criticism. Early coaches called him lazy-looking, not because he didn't work hard, but because his playing style was so composed that it often appeared effortless, almost arrogant. But what they initially misunderstood would become his trademark, calm control. At 16, Toni's performances attracted the attention of Bayern Munich, the biggest club in Germany. Moving to Bavaria meant leaving home, family, and the familiar comfort of Hansa Rostock. It was the moment of departure, a young mind set to enter the brutal, beautiful machinery of top-level football. Bayern Munich was a different universe. The standards were astronomical. Here, training meant competing with national stars and future legends. At Bayern's youth academy, Kroos refined his game under intense supervision. He was promoted to the senior team in 2007, at just 17 years old, a clear statement of trust by the club. His debut came on September 26, 2007, when he came on as a substitute in a Bundesliga match against Energie Cottbus and assisted 2 goals in 18 minutes. It was a dream start, but sustaining that momentum would prove difficult. Bayern was a club built on results, not sentiment. Despite early flashes of brilliance, Toni struggled to secure regular minutes. The team was stacked with experienced midfielders, Mark van Bommel, Zé Roberto, Bastian Schweinsteiger, and later, Frank Ribery and Arjen Robben. Kroos, still a teenager, was overshadowed. Frustrated but not broken, he accepted a loan move to Bayer Leverkusen in 2009. For Toni, it was never about ego. He knew he needed time to mature, not just physically but mentally. Bayer Leverkusen proved to be the turning point in Kroos' career. Free from the pressure of immediate titles, he was given space to evolve. Under manager Jupp Heynckes, who would later become instrumental in his career, Kroos thrived. He played as a central midfielder with freedom to roam. He scored 9 goals and made 12 assists in the 2009-10 season, a spectacular return for a midfielder. What impressed observers most wasn't just the statistics, but how Kroos conducted games like a maestro. His passes were no longer just accurate, they were surgical. He dictated tempo, made clever decisions, and developed a signature move, the quick release under pressure. The Bundesliga started to see him not just as a promising talent, but as a future leader. In 2010, Toni returned to Bayern Munich, and this time, he was ready. Playing under Louis van Gaal, a manager known for nurturing young talent, Kroos was reintroduced into Bayern's midfield. Though Van Gaal liked his calmness, he demanded more physicality and presence from him. Toni responded. Over the next 3 seasons, Kroos became a key component in a midfield trio that included Schweinsteiger and Thomas Müller. The chemistry was electric: brains, brawn, and balance. In the 2012-13 season, under the returning Jupp Heynckes, Bayern embarked on a historic campaign. They won the Bundesliga, DFB Pokal, and UEFA Champions League, a continental treble. Though Kroos missed the Champions League final due to injury, his role throughout the season was critical. He had evolved from a passing prodigy into a midfield general. In the summer of 2014, Toni Kroos' name was etched into football immortality. He was at the heart of Germany's midfield at the FIFA World Cup in Brazil, forming a devastating partnership with Sami Khedira. Under coach Joachim Löw, Kroos had the freedom to express his elegance but also carry the responsibility of transitions and set pieces. His most iconic moment came in the semi-final against Brazil, where Germany demolished the hosts 7-1. Kroos scored twice and orchestrated one of the most astonishing performances in World Cup history. The Germans played like clockwork, and Kroos was the master gear. On July 13, 2014, Germany defeated Argentina 1-0 in the final. Kroos had become a world champion. Despite his success, Kroos felt undervalued at Bayern. Contract negotiations stalled. The club reportedly considered him replaceable. Toni was 24 and at the peak of his powers. Enter Real Madrid. In July 2014, Kroos signed with the Spanish Giants for a fee of €25 million, a bargain in hindsight. Under Carlo Ancelotti, he slotted straight into the midfield alongside Luka Modric and Casemiro. It would become one of the greatest midfield trios in football history. Madrid was different from Bayern. It was more chaotic, more media-driven, more emotional. But Toni didn't change. He brought his precision and calmness into a storm of superstars. Over the years, Kroos would win 4 UEFA Champions League titles with Real Madrid, 2016, 2017, 2018, 2022. 3 La Liga titles, multiple FIFA Club World Cups and Super Cups. He wasn't the loudest, nor the flashiest. But in the locker room, Kroos earned immense respect for his consistency, clarity, and class. He became known as the sniper for his pinpoint passing and dead ball mastery. Off the field, Toni Kroos was unlike many of his superstar teammates. He avoided social media fanfare, drove modest cars, and invested in charitable causes. He established the Toni Kroos Foundation, which supports critically ill children and their families. His philosophy was simple: football is a privilege, but not a reason to lose your humanity. In interviews, he spoke candidly about modern football's obsession with flair over fundamentals. The simple things, he often said, are the hardest to master. He lived that principle on the pitch. His pass completion rate consistently hovered above 90%. He rarely made errors in high-stakes games. He didn't chase glory, he created it. In 2021, after 106 caps, Kroos retired from international duty with Germany. He cited the desire to focus on his family and club football. It was a bittersweet departure. Many fans wanted him to stay longer, but he had given everything. He remained at Real Madrid, continuing to be a midfield metronome even as younger talents emerged. The club trusted him to lead by example, and he did, right until his final seasons. He was asked often why he played with so little emotion. He always smiled and replied, "Emotion is not about showing your face. It's about doing your job for your team." By the time he hinted at retirement in the mid-2020s, Toni Kroos had won every major club and international title. He earned respect across 3 footballing cultures: German precision, Spanish flair, and global greatness. He inspired a generation of midfielders who believed in intelligence over intensity. He wrote a book, participated in documentaries, and quietly transitioned to mentoring young players. He didn't want to coach a team, not yet, but he wanted to help shape the minds of midfielders. What made Kroos different was not just his statistics. It was his devotion to simplicity, his elegance under pressure, and his unshakable calm. In an age of noise, Toni Kroos remained a whisper, and that whisper often decided games. Toni Kroos' journey teaches us that brilliance is not always loud. That being composed under pressure is not weakness, but strength. That hard work doesn't always mean running the most. It means knowing when, where, and why to move. He wasn't built for headlines, he was built for history.